What's up, guys? Subject here, back for another VOD review. Today, we're doing a VOD from BioLuke. If you guys aren't familiar with BioLuke, the most notable thing about him recently is that he was in the World Finals. He went 7th overall with the most recent Tactician's Crown. Tactician's Crown. Yeah, that's what they call it. This naming convention. I'll talk about this. I've actually yapped about the naming convention enough, but he's a Brazilian player. He is one of the best players in Brazil, I would say. It's basically him and Yuso Lucas, who is also in this lobby. So yeah, I mean, it's a stacked Brazilian lobby, and he also played a comp that I really want to talk about. I would say it's probably the most niche reroll comp of the patch, but one where if you get a spot for it, it can be absolutely disgusting. So I'm excited to see how Bio plays around it. He also has played a decent bit of it, honestly. Like, it's one where I've seen him play this way more than other people have. So we start off here with like kind of AP-ish items. I mean, not even necessarily. This could certainly be ideal. You could really play anything from the spot, especially with the hacked components. He opts to not reroll these hacked components. I probably would have if you guys don't know the little trick to that. If you just swap the slots they're in, so just drag this up here and release, then they will reroll into different components. If you don't drag them, then they won't reroll. But I think we should have rerolled these because we're probably not going to be making a declaw death cap, but you know, maybe. First augment here, I don't think really interested in Street Demon +1. I mean, it's fine, I guess. It would lock you into that. I mean, I have seen a lot of people take this one, the dual purpose, but I think this last one, the one that gives you an artifact anvil every 10 rounds, I do think this one, just for multiple sets, has been insane. It's just, usually when you get multiple artifacts, so, I mean, if you can get the ones where you like add multiple artifacts to the same unit, you get some crazy situation, like that's really good. But there are also even just situations where, say, hey, yeah, we take maybe a Mana Zane and then we end up taking an Anima Visage down the line. We have a really strong backliner, a really strong frontliner. It works out very well as well. And it's also it's a lot of value for a Prismatic. I mean, you know, gold augment is this, and then you're getting another gold augment at, you know, the end of stage 3, and then another gold augment if you live long enough at the end of stage 5. There's just, and I mean, you're probably not making it to stage 7, but you know, really good augment. And we do end up picking up the Mana Zane immediately, which is statistically, I think, the best artifact in the game. Might be Ones Have Changed. Here, I'll pull it up just for you guys. But yeah, statistically the best artifact in the game. I think we are probably not too far away from this artifact getting nerfed. I imagine well, we'll see. But I would not be surprised at all if they nerfed this artifact next patch. So Mana Zane here, and we're also going to save this rod here. I think this makes a ton of sense. It's going to be interesting to see what BioLuke does kind of like care about, what he wants to prioritize from his hacked components here, because, you know, he's got the spark. He made that immediately. He is going to make Shojin. Wow. I'm actually shocked, because I do think Shojin's a pretty mediocre item when you are going Mana Zane. The reasoning is just you already have all this mana generation from Mana Zane, so you don't really need the Shojin. But I mean, the idea is that he wants to play strongest board. He wants to win streak here. Had we not done the Shojin, we would have lost this fight. So BioLuke just playing good TFT, just slamming items and saying there's actually good odds that I can win streak from this spot, especially with the Mundo 2, the Zyra 2. If we get this Alistar in for Bruiser, and then if we find a Street Demon, we have very good odds of actually win streaking here. So just, I mean, a good example of saying, you know what, my items aren't going to be perfect here, and that's fine. I would much rather have imperfect items and, you know, 5 streak, 10 streak, whatever, than have perfect items and, you know, not have a solid streak here. Even though we're going to rotate now. I mean, this guy's Nitro. They have an Italy too, but it's definitely not enough to beat us. So, all right. We have the Mana Zane. We have, you know, mana item built on top of it, which, like I said, is not amazing, but, you know, good enough for the streak. And now the next part is just, okay, like, what are we actually going to play from this game? Mana Zane opens up a lot of options. You can just play this in traditional AP type lines. Used to be seen a lot on like Annie, though Annie has fallen out of favor a bit. But, you know, you have the Vhagar line, which uses it really well as well. But the line that I want to talk about is none of those lines. The line that I want to yap about this game is Leblanc reroll. We haven't seen the Leblanc even yet, but you know what? I mean, once again, like, I put it in the thumbnails usually, so I can't hide it too much. But Leblanc does actually like a fantastic job of using Mana Zane. The reasoning why is LeBlanc, actually, it's kind of funny. You have LeBlanc and you have Jinx. They're actually kind of the same unit, except Jinx is AD and LeBlanc is AP. And both of them do the same thing. It's every time they cast, they shoot one more. So, you know, every time Jinx casts, her next cast shoots an extra rocket. Every time LeBlanc casts, her thingy fires an extra sigil. And so the idea behind Mana Zane is you can really quickly stack up those sigils for Leblanc. It is really good on Jinx as well. I did play once a Jinx reroll game with the Mana Zane, and that felt really good. But same idea with Leblanc, and just, you know, a little bit easier to get to. And also obviously, like, we have AP item slammed in this spot. We are going to, you know, play for AP setup. But yeah, we haven't even actually seen a single Leblanc here yet. I'm not 100% sure if BioLuke in this spot is like sure that he's going to play towards the LeBlanc carry or not. But I mean, I do think it makes a lot of sense to play towards it either way. I mean, you know, maybe if his next shop randomly had like a 2-star Veigar in it, he would consider playing around Veigar. But I do think like playing into LeBlanc makes the most sense, especially also because we're holding these street demons. Because LeBlanc's kind of a funny unit. She's a strategist and a cipher. It's very hard actually. I mean, like, you're often not like saying, oh, I'm really hyped, I'm gonna play for, you know, Cypher in the mid game, and that's gonna be my trait. I mean, I guess you could take the cash out and get the AP from it, but usually she's just a one trait unit. She's just a strategist most of the time. You're not really caring about the Cypher, and, you know, especially when rerolling, it's really awkward to like reroll and play Cypher as well. And so that means you kind of have to figure out what to fill out the rest of your comp with, and very often that means that you're playing around a bunch of street demons because there's 2 street demon strategists. So it's very easy on level 6 if you high roll a little bit to be 5 street demon, 2 strategist, and for that just to be your board. So that's the idea when you're playing around this comp, and I'm curious to see when BioLuke kind of makes that decision. Don't think we're gonna take any kind of wow, he really is looking at street demon circlet here. Yeah, I don't think it makes any sense at all. I'm kind of surprised that he even left that as an option here. I mean, I would have taken Radiant Refactor before that, but he actually thinks that's his best one. But looks at these other options, says, eh. I mean, you could actually, I mean, I would probably just take Prismatic Ticket here to get us to those 3 stars that we just don't have any of. You could actually think about Final Ascension. The problem is that Mana Zane's damage is very front-loaded. It gives you a bunch of casts at the start, but the last LeBlanc cast will be pretty chill. We do also have a bunch of extra items, so bulk's probably not too bad either. But yeah, I do think this is the best idea here. We actually do pick up an Andy on the roll down, and he's digging, kind of trying to look for some LeBlancs. He does find one, and he is actually going to pivot into this Cypher board for, we'll see how long. Finds the LeBlanc too, so we can play around this. And yeah, this is actually going to be his mid-game board, is not the street demons that we were talking about, but actually he's going to play Cypher for a bit. Okay, gonna throw the Shojin. I mean, you can just throw it onto LeBlanc right now. I mean, you don't need the removers that badly. And also we're going to itemize Echo here. Echo, surprisingly decent tank, honestly. I've played a lot around this guy, and, well, I mean, when I've played this line, and he's actually like quite tanky, surprisingly. The idea though is that you are eventually gonna move items over to Nico. She's gonna be like your real tank, but I mean, if you find Echo 3, he can certainly item hold items for a long time. So that is the idea, at least. But all right, we've hit our board. Yeah, this is actually crazy that we are fitting Cypher. The times that I've played this comp, I have just played around Street Demon, like I said, but he's actually just fitting Cypher and saying, I'm gonna get some extra resources. I don't know if we're going to keep Cypher in later, but we'll see. We do also need to make another LeBlanc item here. We just right now have this Manamazane here. We'd love to pick up a JG. I think is just a very easy slam from this spot. You don't actually have a ton of AP, though you're getting some from Street Demon onto the LeBlanc, but once again, we're just looking for front-loaded damage here. The JG is pretty good. Normally, if you're... I don't even know, like... No, if you are not Mana Zane LeBlanc, the statistics really like stuff that like gets her casting and then stuff that gets her scaling. Gunblade, Archangels just plays for like these really big like final ults at the end of the fights. I will say I've only played this comp for Mana Zane, and I haven't seen too much success of it from not Mana Zane. So I will say that is certainly the angle that I think is strongest. But I mean, hey, if if you get a disgusting spot for LeBlanc reroll, you can probably play it without Mana Zane. But yeah, like I said, it's not exactly what I'd recommend. But all right, get into a 4 Cypher here. Yeah, the Shojin just sitting on bench here waiting because we're just trying to make sure that we keep our loss streak as long as possible with Cypher. I imagine we're just going to take the 3-7 cash out here and take, 100 cash out. I mean, it's not bad. It's not amazing, but I mean, we are 64 HP. We could hold it into stage 4. I don't know. I'm quite curious. The only downside to holding it into stage 4 is that it does mean that we're forced to continue playing these Cypher units, which is going to mean we're going to get lower. But I mean, we have Cypher. Yeah, we might as well save. All right. Wow, we're actually not immediately going to pop this anvil. I mean, I think you probably should just pop this anvil, right? His idea is maybe that we can, get some extra information before popping this anvil, but I mean, you probably just, we can at least wait and see what our items for minions are, right? No reason not to. Yeah, now we see all of our items, and now we can pop the anvil. I mean, that's good. It's just very good, solid, optimal TFT play here. Nothing crazy here. I mean, pretty bad stuff all around. I guess you just take Infinity Force, yeah, as a random, almost like tank item or duo carry item. But yeah, we're just gonna throw that onto Echo here. We do have Static Shiv if we want to make it. It's kind of funny. Or actually, no, we have the yeah, we're just gonna make blue buff here and GS actually. Yeah, we have the Spark Roy, so we don't need Shiv. But the blue buff, I think, really good shout out when you have Mana Zane. I know. Okay, I shouldn't flame, but it's fun to do. But let's pull up Leblanc here and throw in Mana Zane, and then you can, yeah, I mean, you can just see that, and you can see the stats on LeBlanc with Mana Zane are amazing, but you can also see the stats on blue buff amazing. The idea why, I will say, I watched Kai stream. It was set 11, set with Lilia in it, and he had a Mana Zane Lilia, and he avoided building blue buff for whatever reason. And I do remember Kai getting flamed a little bit by someone in his chat for not building Mana Zane, and he was like, oh, or not building blue buff with a Mana Zane, and he was like, wait, is it actually good? And yes, it is very good. The idea being, it's just Mana Zane is always going to give you a flat amount of mana, and so reducing the amount of mana that you need to cast, I mean, blue buff cares every single time you cast, you get that 10 mana like banked back into your ability. It's just, it's a really good combination, and so we are going to make that here. We're going to take another loss here. We could cash here. We could try to sack a few more, though we're going to get pretty low. Yeah, and okay, he does opt to just take this cash here, grab a bunch of 4 costs. Actually kind of blows because we don't really have any bench space to pick these up. We do get a Nico, though, so that's not bad. And now we do kind of have to roll here for LeBlanc 3. We find LeBlanc 3 and Echo 3. We're in a level here for 4 strategist, and yeah, he's just going to... Wow, he's actually going to put the blue buff. I'm surprised, honestly, that he put it onto Yuumi, but I guess his idea is that even though the synergy is really good, I could either blue buff my Yuumi or I could random GS my Yuumi, and he'd prefer to just put the blue buff on her. Okay, that makes sense. So you can kind of do both, right? You can throw it onto LeBlanc, or you can throw it onto this Yuumi later. And look at this LeBlanc damage output, 13,000 damage. That is the LeBlanc fully up and functional. We do actually get another duplicator here, which I guess we could use for some kind of 3-star. Ooh, we do find the Samira here, who actually fits beautifully onto this board. And I think this is like kind of like the main way to cap out this setup, is that, you know, you're always going to play Echo plus the Nico, but you're not that attached to any of these other kind of street demon units on your board. And so our main way of capping is we can actually, you know, play around the Samira, get street demon in that way, and then we can also get AMP in for the Yuumi. Though it looks like he actually did just get out of the Nico, because his idea is like, I have an Alawi 3 here. I should actually play for the Alawi. This is a wild setup, but it's kind of an interesting idea, and even fits an Anima squad in here. I want to say Anima, but I didn't for you guys, even though I did just say it. This is actually a wild board. This is not the board that I've seen people, well, to be fair, people don't play this comp that often, so it's not like I would say there's like a vast like sea of knowledge about this comp. But yeah, he actually fits Cypher in, plays the 2 frontline Cypher units, gets Vanguard in and Bastion in with the Anima Vanguard and Bastion, fits Yuumi in for Strategist and Anima there, and then just fits Echo as the extra unit for another Strategist and another 2 cost that you can reroll. And it's a cool setup, and I mean, honestly, you can see the value in the board, though. I think our backline just got 1-tapped by, okay, we're fine, but that was really scary. Our LeBlanc, I think, got actually just 1-shot by an Aurora. I mean, not ideal. The other cool thing about doing this, and this is something that I've seen BioLook do, is that you can actually roll for Yuumi 3 in this setup. I do think this is probably one where, like, Yuumi, I'm hoping, will get some buffs next patch, and so... You know, this is maybe a comp that you can, you know, keep in your back pocket, play when you have the Mana Zane, and then maybe actually after the potential buffs becomes even better comp. So, all right, we're looking at potential last Yuumi item here. We are actually, yeah, we're gonna make Guardbreaker here and then swap this over to LeBlanc and then go to GS. I love this, yeah. I mean, Guardbreaker is so good on a unit like LeBlanc, who's doing a bunch of small instances of damage. It means that you're very easily going to proc the Guardbreaker. You know, we're hitting this Jarvan and procking it on all the sigils after that first one, which is beautiful. And Yuumi can hold the GS just fine now that she has, you know, a third item. You really don't want GS to be like the only item on your unit, because then it's really not doing that much. It's a very bad kind of like single item. And we also do opt to, we get the Samira and we get the Nico and we actually cut back out of the Sylas. Sylas is the most cuttable unit on this board because, I mean, 1, who really cares about Vanguard on this board? It's just Vanguard on Tavai. And then 2, Anima Squad as well is just kind of worthless on this board. I mean, it's not worthless, but it's not amazing on this board. We could fit it earlier when it like was helpful, but I mean, I think now it makes a ton of sense to cut it. And yeah, like, I don't know, this board is so satisfying. Actually, just see the LeBlanc shoot out all of the sigils and just like absolutely destroy people. It's She's actually just a monster on these boards. So yeah, we do have Deus de das Redes, but I don't know if we can really play. I mean, it'd be really cool to Street Demon. I would consider playing this over the Silas on the level 9 and just go for a Street Demon onto our Leblanc. That would be really cool. Also, who is this? Was that a sub notification or was just... there's a lot going on BioLuke's stream, I'll be real, but I mean it's good vibes, and he's absolutely popping off, man. 6 win streak here. He's just destroying. He did not pick up the Garen here, so I think he does not care about the Garen in this spot. And I mean, last item here, we can just finish off an Alawi item, though we don't really have the option to. I mean, I guess we could take, yeah, really just not much. But look for the guard breaker, can't take it, so we're actually going to take just, yeah, the DB so that we can throw this onto Samira and have her be another carry on this board. But yeah, all right, chillin'. We are going to level to play the Silas here. Like I said, I don't know. I'm not the most jazzed about the Silas, but I mean, something that we could play. I'm gonna guess, and yeah, he's hovering strategist. The best in here is certainly just going to be the Ziggs. If we can get 5 strategists onto this board, then this, I mean, the more strategists you get in, the better strategists are. Crazy, the way that it works. But I mean, because the way that strategists scale is they scale triple on the damage amp and the DR, it just feels like it's a trait where like every single interval really matters. If you get to the next interval, it is kind of crazy. So I wouldn't even... Yeah, I mean, he's looking, well, I don't know what he's looking at, actually, because he took both units. I mean, I think you're going to play around the Yuumi for sure, but I do think, yeah, the Silas can certainly come out for the Ziggs when we get there. But look, we're fighting into a pretty strong Executioner's board here, actually. Not this, like, Street Demon version, but just, like, kind of like the older, like, straight-up Executioner version, because they have the +1. Oh my god, the Varus is a lot of work, but the Alawi clears. Oh my god. And, I mean, that's the top 4. That's the top 3 locked in, even. And now we get another item. I mean, I guess we have Seeker's Arm Guard. You can throw that onto Echo or Alawi. I was thinking Echo, but I mean, either way, they both make decent usage of the AP. So yeah, I think either way, fine. But all right, that's our setup. And now we're just looking for last Samira item, I guess, here. Though, I mean, the bow is kind of a fake item, but whatever. All right, we can roll down here. We can pick up Yuumi's. We can also dig for, wow, Samira 2 was pretty quick. And we're really looking for that Ziggs. Where's the one Ziggs here? We find a random Leona, so we can play this at least, a little bit better unit than the Silas. Also, we're going to move the DB or the Infinity Force back down here. Ah, very smart. Yeah, just saying, I mean, it's going to be a better item on the Samira. Now we have a Samira 2 to play around. All right, very sick, actually. Okay, well, we fight this guy who has a pretty strong Anima squad board. Oof, we just barely lose to this. I mean, this fight's a Ziggs. Wait, actually, I'm really surprised that he doesn't play Ziggs on this board. I feel like that's just a straight up mistake because I don't think Vanguard is really doing anything for your board. And likewise, I don't think Anima Squad is really doing much for your board either. He thinks Anima Squad is better than 5 strat here. Yeah, I feel like that's just a straight up miscalculation here. But I mean, either way, I mean, it's TFT. It's not easy game. All right, rotate into Executioners again. LeBlanc has a ton of single target damage. That's the upside. The only downside is this guy is kind of killing our backline. Just this Varus is like penetrating through our entire board and just killing everything. But okay, we can roll down here, try to maybe find a Yuumi 3, but I think we're a bit too far off. I mean, like I said, I mean, I think you just sell the Yuumi here and dig for like a 2-star, though. I mean, we still have this dupe. We might actually die with Duplicator just because we hit everything so easily. All right, we swap to left side here. It's a little scary, actually. This Viego gets a cast off on backline, another cast on backline, a third cast off backline. I think the Viego casted 4 times. Oh my god, and I think we were right side here. I mean, we would have had enough time to actually win that fight. Oh, okay. I mean, a sad end to the game, but I mean, we're fighting into 2 very strong boards, and I mean, this Anima board with all the Radiant items is really, really scary. This is an amazing setup, by the way, for this Augment. Maybe I'll do a VOD on this setup, actually, Anima, with quality over quantity. But yeah, I mean, still a really cool game showing off the power of this LeBlanc comp. I know like some people want to show games that are more low roll, that are more like, oh, that aren't even like first. So look, boom, I gave you guys a third. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Twitch for Metafy. All my links down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, as always.